Welcome to Invest Out West podcast. I'm Nat Micken.
And I'm Carlia Micken. We are a husband and wife team who live and invest in Western Queensland.
Join us on our journey of creating passive income through mindset, business, crypto, and property investing. Welcome to Invest Out West episode number 48.
The quote we'd like to leave with today is from Benjamin Franklin, where he says, "Either write something worth reading or do something worth writing."
Yeah, we've called this episode How to Hold a Property with Zero Costs because it's been something on our mind for a little while about doing this episode. We're just going to sort of keep this fairly brief and fairly simple, not going to go into a whole lot of detail. But Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about how that things that you own either put money in your pocket or take money out of your pocket. So they're either an asset or a liability. And we have let different things go. We let some property go one time. We sold property because it was taking money out of our pocket and wasn't putting money in our pocket. And it's always something that we sort of follow, that sort of line of advice, because that's pretty much what it is. Like it's either an expense or it's an asset. So we're just going to go into this story here today. Those of you who regularly listen to this podcast know where we live and our area here in northwest Queensland, and there's a lot of mining activity around this area, this part of the world. There's vanadium exploration, there's gold exploration, and then as you get sort of further west from here, it's a lot of copper mining and different things like that. So there's a lot of exploration companies sort of around where we live, and one day one of these particular companies approached us about they wanted some land to put some containers on, wanted to lease some land off somebody in the area. Now I'm just going to keep this fairly vague because I haven't got permission off this particular company to mention their name or anything like that. So I'm just going to sort of keep it fairly vague, just to sort of keep their identity out of it for the time being. So this particular company, they got onto us, like rang up and said, like, I think somebody sort of referred them to us because a lot of people in the area know that we're always open to doing deals and that sort of thing. And so this company got onto us and said, we're sort of looking to lease some, just a small bit of area just to put a couple of containers on. And they said, have you got anything? And sort of, like Carlia took the phone call and she said, we'll just see what we can do. And when we sort of thought about it straight away, we're like, okay, we can't really help them out. But giving it some more thought, we said, actually, I think we can, because we owned a block of a piece of real estate in this particular area where they were looking, so long story short, we ended up contacting them back and said, well, we do have this piece of real estate that we're only using for our own use. We didn't have it rented out or anything, but the problem was that it wasn't gravelled or anything like that for these containers. And we said to this company, if you're happy to pay for the gravel where these containers are going to sit, then we're happy to lease, to give you some area of this land to lease out. So they said, that sounded like a good deal to them. So they put up the money to gravel that piece of that block where they were gonna use, and so it went from there, and then we sat down with them and worked out like a a win-win situation for them and us of, a lease agreement and how much and all that sort of thing. And so what ended up happening was that we were able to neutralise our cost of our rates on that piece of property through the lease money from leasing that piece of the block out to this company. So it's actually slightly more than the rates that we pay on that block each year is what we're getting from the lease of those two containers. And two containers don't take up much room, like a very, very small amount of room, plus they paid for the gravel. And then now we're able to, because like I said before, we're only using that block for our own use, and so now we're able to hold that property free of charge, effectively, because this lease is covering our rates, which was sort of our only expense on that piece of land. So we were able to cover that, to neutralise that completely, or eliminate completely that expense, and so now we actually hold that piece of real estate for free. So that's what I was sort of really wanting to point out in this episode, is that it's just sort of looking for, what different deals can you do, what's out there that you can do to reduce your costs and also help somebody out at the same time. So, Carly, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, all I wanted to talk about really was about seeing and embracing the opportunity when it comes your way. So when I took the phone call, his initial request we couldn't support. He was asking for something that we couldn't actually do at the time. But instead of me just saying, no, sorry, I can't help you, see you later, I just said to him that I took down his details, and I said that I talked to Nat, and we'd work out, and see if there was something that we could do. And of course, with a bit of discussion and a bit of backwards and forwards, we worked out a deal that would tick both parties' boxes. And so I guess just the point that I wanted to make was that even like a lot of times we can't immediately help someone, but it's not so much a case of saying no, I can't help you, but it's a case of saying how can I help, and then going away and giving that thought time to prosper and saying, like how can I help this become a reality, not only for us in through what Nat's been saying, as a cost like a cost neutralising basis that we're winning through, but also for the people that approached us, and how can we help them with their ambitions and what they want to do for their company and for the communities and so on. So yeah, it's always a really good mindset to have of how can I help, instead of just no, instead of it being no, see you later, it's what can I do, and how can I think up a way that can tick all of our boxes.
Yeah, no, that's definitely right, because that, like I've always said, that's definitely something that gets me out of bed in the mornings, is not just sort of making the money and all that sort of thing that we're sort of looking to do, but also how can we help somebody else and benefit the whole area and benefit our local towns and that sort of thing. That sort of really gets me out of bed in the mornings, and that's why we're so passionate about starting up all these new ventures that we're starting up in our local towns, is because we're always sort of focused on how can we make these towns more livable and get people to to stay in these towns and all that sort of thing, and this is like Carly is saying, like this is definitely part it fits into that box of that we're able to help that particular company, and therefore they were able to keep their operations running, but at the same time we're able to win out of it immensely by effectively holding that piece of real estate for free now, whereas it used to be a cost to us to hold it. So I think that's sort of pretty much all I really wanted to say on that. It's just really about showing people that there's these sorts of things that you can do to Yeah, just to to make not only your own life better, but other people's lives as well. So, you have anything more on that before we wrap this up?
No, not really, but just to reiterate the point, that we're all about supporting the community a lot. The benefits that this company then brings to the community, and not just the town where this company has set up their containers on our land, but across the board, it has a massive flow-on effect. And this is what we're about. About finding these opportunities, not only for us but for everybody around us. And that's what we really want to encourage other people as well. Is just to broaden your mindset and to broaden your mind, is to say, when an opportunity comes past, to say, how can I make this work? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good wrap. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say. So, yeah, I think we'll close this one off here and keep living the dream.